Okay, picture this. You're a soldier, the war is over, or so everyone says, but you don't believe it. So you pack your gear, disappear into the jungle, and survive for nearly 3 decades. Sounds insane, right? That's the story of Shoichi Yokoi, the soldier who refused to surrender. Shoichi Yokoi was born in 1915 in Japan, in a small rural town. He grew up in a world that valued discipline, duty, and loyalty. From a young age, he learned to hunt, fish, and live off the land, skills that would later save his life. As a teenager, he joined the Japanese army. He wasn't a famous soldier or a general. He was just an ordinary man trained to follow orders, to serve his country, and to endure hardships. But nobody could have ever predicted what would happen to him in the years to come. In 1941, the Japanese Empire was deeply involved in World War II. Shoichi was sent to Guam, an island in the Pacific. Now, this is where things start getting really intense. He fought bravely, but by 1944, the tides of war had turned. The United States recaptured Guam, and Japanese forces were overwhelmed. Many soldiers surrendered. Many died, and some, like Shoichi, chose to disappear. Imagine the fear and confusion he must have felt. He knew the Americans were coming. He knew surrendering might mean imprisonment or worse. So he took a simple decision: vanish. Shoichi retreated into the dense, humid jungles of Guam, armed with just a knife, some basic supplies, and his training. No map, no communication, just him in the wilderness. And this is where his story becomes unimaginable. He wasn't planning to hide for a few weeks or months. He ended up staying 28 years. Now, let's get into how he actually survived. Life in the jungle was brutal. Food was scarce, so Shoichi had to get creative. Eating. He survived on snails, lizards, shrimp, wild fruits, coconuts, and even occasionally the occasional small mammal. Nothing was wasted. Traps. He built ingenious traps for small animals using bamboo, vines, and sharpened sticks. Clothing. His uniform eventually wore out, so he made clothes out of leaves, bark, and other natural fibers. And shelter? He dug small holes or built simple lean-tos to protect himself from storms and insects. He became a master of survival. In fact, locals who later found him said his skills were extraordinary. He could live off the jungle in ways that would challenge modern survival experts. Living alone for decades isn't just physically challenging, it's mentally grueling. Shoichi thought the war was ongoing. He watched planes, ships, and even villagers from a distance, but he never revealed himself. He had to be careful. Every step outside his hiding place could be fatal, and he couldn't rely on anyone. Trust was impossible. He lived in complete isolation for nearly 3 decades, watching the world change around him while he stayed frozen in time. Finally, in 1972, local farmers came across him while harvesting bananas. Imagine their shock. A man, wild-looking, tattered clothes, living like a ghost of the jungle. When asked, "Didn't you know the war ended?" Shoichi reportedly said, "It is with much embarrassment that I return." Think about that. He'd been hiding longer than most people's entire careers. He had no idea that the world had moved on. The war he thought was fighting ended almost 3 decades earlier. Shoichi returned to Japan and became a minor celebrity. People were fascinated by his story. They called him disciplined, loyal, and incredibly stubborn. He lived quietly afterwards, sharing his experiences, writing a memoir, and reflecting on the incredible endurance it took to survive. It's a story that's equal parts inspiring, unbelievable, and a little bit mind-blowing. Who could survive 28 years in the jungle completely alone? Not me. Shoichi's survival was not just luck. It was skill, patience, and extreme discipline. He witnessed 28 years of change in society, missing technological advances like color TV, video games, and even modern cars. His story is now used in Japanese schools as a lesson in perseverance, duty, and survival. Shoichi's story makes you rethink what humans are capable of. Could you survive alone in the wild for decades? Would you give up, or like Shoichi, keep going, believing in your duty? For me, this isn't just a survival story. It's a story about stubbornness, dedication, and the limits of human endurance. Truly wild and totally unbelievable, but completely true. What do you guys think about him? Let me know your thoughts in the comments.